Well. Really good.
You're all prompt.
Yep.
6:02 on the nose.
Before we start the meeting,
Can't get any prompter than that.
we gotta know how you did at Cornish.
Oh, I had the best day of my summer down there.
Clean house
Well, I won 35.
Yeah.
Beat David Race.
by a lot.
Yeah, funny.
Yeah.
And,
Was a good win.
and Jason Aiken says, you wanna run my tractor in the 10.5,
What you got?
660 International
Mhm.
diesel. And I said, oh, sure.
That weren't the one sitting down there, was it? That must have been Danny Moore's or something.
Down the corner?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the
Oh, that was the
one.
one?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
that must have been correct.
yes. And so I hopped on that baby and won that class.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you have to, can you keep the ribbon or did you?
No, he said, take it. I said, you want, I'll break the trophy in half or whatever you want to do. He said, no.
You probably took the prize money.
And so anyways, I had a good day.
Good. It was hot.
It was hot.
I went down Saturday. It was
Saturday.
hot, but not
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, it was plenty hot Sunday.
Mhm.
And I had two maple creamies,
Ooh,
I'm working on my barn and I think it
With,
was horribly hot.
crunchy
it
stuff
was
on
hot,
it.
yeah.
I had to,
I know, and we were like, of course, the
night
night that Rodney's gonna work on it. We're out.
When I got all done, I went back up to the truck.
I
and I
was
said, "Well,
a
give me
couple
one."
guys stopped in. and I said,
Yeah.
"Hey, you got a
Right.
good job, you."
I had it up through and I got up on top and I said, whoa, I gotta cut this out, but I was shoveling.
I think it looks good.
I like it, yeah, it looks awesome. Do they work well?
Did you have
They work
one?
good,
Had a
except for
good,
really
good.
I probably
Good.
should have
Took Willie down, so we had a
trimmed the
good
back.
conversation on that.
Whisker more.
Really?
What we
The
doing?
bolts,
Oh, yeah, good,
The heads
good.
of them don't,
good.
they still like to nick in the wood. So I may have to, either live with it or take them back down and
Ugh.
trim the wood just a little bit.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, now that we've got the presents we've had, we might as well start the meeting.
How's racing going?
Oh, I'm mid that,
Mid?
mid,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
15.
haven't checked on the stand.
I wanted to ask you about that, but I thought we were gonna start the meeting.
We're gonna start it right now. We'll bring the meeting to order at
6:04.
6:04 in the PM. Mr. Road Foreman, I think you're up first.
Yeah, as you know, Hooks are trying to start on that bridge.
Did you hear from the state?
I didn't. But, she did.
What did she hear from the state?
So it's not from the state, it's from the people who are the directors of the Vermont Land Trust. Who own the
Oh.
property,
Oh, right.
and so they are, because I called her yesterday and I said that. If you won't let us put this other road in, then we're gonna shut the road down, because they need to start the project. And so she said, well, they really don't want to see that happen, but she needed to present the information to her board. That she talked to, who was it, Patrick Ross?
Yeah.
At the DEC River Management Program, and he's given them a summary of the project, and Rudy's compiled a remediation plan for the other side. And so she's hopeful that by Thursday afternoon, they'll have the green light.
Oh, good.
So if you want to wait until Thursday to see if they'll give you the green light, then that would be.
I mean, I think that's okay, and that with folks,
It's fine with me, I guess, we can't really let the green light run over too long.
right,
Yeah,
well, it seems like Thursday, I mean, it's only 2 days from now, so.
Oh, yeah, I understand that, and, we all know that this will run into snow flying if we don't act fairly soon.
Right,
And so I know for Thursday, Ruben called me yesterday and said, heard anything? And I said, no, and I said, the select board will make a decision on Tuesday night. And so the decisions hold on, so that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. At least there's a decision to tell it.
well, I suspect that you'll be contacted once to Mariah,
yes,
and as soon as you know, you can tell Rodney,
yes.
and then Rodney can tell Ruben.
But I think we need a backup plan if this is not gonna, if it runs into something that,
Just shut the road down. I mean, I don't know what else.
well, that's kind of what I'm asking about, like Monday, if they ain't told us anything, maybe we shut the road down, and if they get around to say something, maybe we could put the bypass in at that point.
If we do shut the road down, we definitely need to broadcast as much as we can to everybody in town.
Plus, put signs up.
Well, signage, and also make sure we call him Simon Bradford.
Right.
So that
I was
he's.
thinking we could also fire up this thing right out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just, I mean,
Yeah.
every way possible, because that's too short a notice. If we didn't,
Oh, it is.
if we'd have gonna
fairly
shut the
quick.
road down next week and we notified them 2 months ago, it'd be one thing. People get ugly.
I wonder if you should maybe try to contact the 3 houses on that road and just warn them that this is a possibility.
There's only 3 houses. on it.
As far as I know, there's only 3.
Right?
Well,
Yeah.
actually, I guess there's more than 3, but because 2 of them are strides.
Yeah, Tabor Stride and is it Julie? Her
Julie,
husband?
her husband passed away.
Oh, okay.
so,
Oh,
And then it's yeah, I can do that.
Because I guess you could notify them, at least put them on notice that this could be a possibility.
Mhm.
And so that'll start the process of,
you know who lives at Belfair's place?
well,
I've met the person, but I can't remember who it is.
the last that I knew, they were the people who were staying up to the old Larkin farm.
Oh, the 2 women?
Couple of
Caroline
women,
Gordon and her partner.
could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that could be, yeah.
I just was thinking that should warn them anyhow, the bridge is gonna be worked on, no
Right.
matter whether it's bypassed or whether it's.
Right.
And so I kind of where I'm at with that situation, it's just, get them. And I guess if Ruben has any questions, we'll let him talk to you.
Yep.
Now, how is Simon with that situation?
I don't know, he just, when George was working on hard scramble, he sent an email to us saying that he wasn't unaware of that, and I felt foolish because I totally blanked on the fact that he ought to know. And so I don't think he knows anything about this, but like you said, he ought to know.
I know Thomas talked to him at the fire meeting and because I guess they could stage at the other end of the bridge.
Okay, so he doesn't know about it.
And fire trucks could come down to the new bridge and stage there.
Yeah.
So I guess they could get in. But that's something that I prefer you folks iron out with him,
Sure,
not just. I like you involved in that particular area,
it just,
to make sure that. You know, what he said to us is what you hear too.
right. Well, could you, Mariah,
Mhm.
contact him if need be?
Fine.
I mean, I could contact him, but then if you did it, you'd
Yeah.
maybe get more accurate information his way. Or
I might contact him anyways and just say this is a possibility, just so he's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying with them people, I'll just let him be in that possibility loop.
Yeah.
So Rodney, did the land trust, looking at some maps, realize they were wetlands on either side of the road there, or was it something that they had done when they bought that land and then they realized they
Well,
were?
I didn't know anything about the wetland. I was taken by surprise to find out it was. I never been actually in a situation where we was actually in the wetlands, I guess. And so anyways, I had this all worked out with Corey, that we were gonna do this. And he didn't have a problem with it, and that's when she informed me that even if Corey had given us okay, they were gonna have to be the ones that actually gave the okay.
Yeah. makes sense.
So apparently they were ownership of the place even back then.
But you said on the other side of the road, they're not actually the owners.
No, but the other side of the road is gonna be a real expense to put, so I've been told, a real expense to put a bypass in there.
I think it would be.
Well, Ruben estimated 100 load of material would have to go out to him to make a bypass on the lower side.
Right,
Oh, I see. We could do it over there, but it's just prohibitively expensive.
To be honest with you, I've not seen a map. I couldn't tell you if the lower side of that road is also, or whether it just comes right to the road.
Right.
all right, anything else going on?
I got some trucks hired for the 6th.
That's it.
The 6th of September to draw sand.
Mhm.
And
How many trucks?
well, I got right this moment, I got at least 4 definite ones. And I think I've actually got 5 definite ones, because I think Chelsea's actually gonna come around to the idea they wanna truck it, I think.
Mhm.
At least that's what it sounds like to me. I don't know that for a fact, but cause I got 2 Smith's trucks. I got Kevin Rogers and I got
Not Tucker kid.
Tucker, Ben Tucker. And I got a couple of feelers out there for another truck or 2, see if we rope in one of those.
Is it a simple fact that if you had 10 or 12, it'd be even more efficient, or is it,
Well, if it's the same money, it's gonna cost you the same money no matter what.
what do they charge an hour?
Well, I guess it's gonna work out to about $8 a yard, which is about $112,
Shoot,
roughly $112 an hour.
shoot.
And seems like the $8 thing is pretty much what anybody's charging today.
Mhm.
And which is, according to last week, that was a doable as far as the treasurer went, to have the money to pay for it.
Just a little aside, I was going to work the other morning, Paul Lambert was coming up through that new international heading up Slack Hill. And I don't know what he had in the back, but it was pretty dry and he didn't have no canvas. You couldn't even see behind him, the whole line of cars behind him.
Probably came right out of a real dry pit. Right over here, the brands.
Yeah.
So we're getting some ditching done again.
Oh, good.
Where are you ditching now?
Well, we went up through here and done most of the side roads, and then we went back over on the Button Hill side and came up over to well, I guess it's pretty close to Giles is where we ended today. I mean, most all of it got done, but some of it didn't need it, so it didn't get done. But
Well, notice
most
you
of
did
it
did
got
Whitney
done.
Hill last week
Yeah,
sometime. Makes it look good, so.
well, hopefully it keeps the water at bay.
What
Right.
water?
Well, it's coming. I just hope it don't come in giant buckets.
It's down in Texas now, it's headed their way. Those 6 or 8 weeks, we'll have it,
Really? Wow.
Hope we don't get it bad.
yeah.
Outside of that, I don't have a lot to share with you.
Any ton truck news?
I called. Last week, I was under the impression it was out of the paint booth. And yesterday, he said he's gonna call me to find out if it's totally out of the paint booth yet. And he never called me back. I think if we ever decide to do another 10-tow body, we probably better look at going to maybe, New York or something like that. I just don't know about these people down there. They are a Viking, I mean, not Viking, but, Everest and, MG body. And they kind of got everything that happened up in,
Very.
Barry thrown at them, and I guess they're not overly anxious, worried about things that took place up there. They're already done deals as far as they're concerned, and now they gotta clean up from them. And
So they painted it, but they've yet to undercoat it then. I assume.
I assuming you're right, I guess, because last week I called down there, and I think the whole shop stopped because the foreman was on vacation.
Mhm.
And I don't know how you can keep up with stuff when you shut down the whole shop, I guess, because he's not around to tell you what to do.
Simple, I guess.
So, I was told it's gonna take a month, and that's probably what they're gonna make me run it up to.
Well, I guess you're not wearing it out in the house.
Rodney, with
Yes.
with the fair coming up, is there anything the road crew has to do down there? Like grading?
They may ask for the grader. I'm not really sure. I guess I probably should get permission to go if they do ask. But they seem to be doing a pretty good job this year of keeping it raked and scraped and this and that. So maybe they're not gonna be asking. But then again,
Alright.
they might. So, I guess I might as well, if they call, I guess it's gonna be all right to go.
Has been in the past.
That's how I look at it. I can't stop the fair.
Yeah. Oh, I've got written on my list, Mike's neighbor, Fay Sherman, called me about a decrepit culvert
Oh, yeah.
on the class 4 road that passed your daughter's place there.
I was gonna talk to Bill Cameron about that because I think the snow machine club smushed that.
Yep.
Because it's worn out all the way across.
Now
I
you-
think it's that drag.
Talking about middle of the first hill.
Yeah,
Cause somebody put in a water bar there and,
He said the water bar is too deep too.
oh,
That's not my concern.
my truck climbed there. Yeah. Cause I went up to after I was talking to you there.
well, I hung around like with my chain in my hand.
Anyway, so you got it under control and you're gonna,
I'm gonna talk to Bill about it and see if I can get Snow Machine Club to do it,
okay,
because I think they're the ones that.
Yeah.
Ruined it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was buried and surface wore off, so it got pretty close to the surface and then dragging the drag over
Right.
for years and years. You know, because it's not wheel tracks, it's the whole top of the culvert.
yeah. Okay,
So, yeah,
following up,
Oh, I know. Guess we're done there.
yes,
Yeah.
you're out of here.
I just can't.
Well, there's nothing exciting online.
All right, let's see ya.
take care.
Take care, thank you.
Bye, Rodney.
Bye.
We should have had on the agenda, Rodney's gonna sing a solo or
Yeah.
something like that.
And get
That
more
would
people
have dragged some people in.
Yeah. Entertainment value.
Yeah.
All right, it says tax sale, Joe Paquin. And look at that, we're almost on time.
Hey, no worries. I was like, oh, we'll wait for Rodney to finish. Good evening, gentlemen, and Mariah, welcome back. So just give you guys an update after we did our abatement hearing last week with the one property in question. Our total delinquent taxes are down to 94,000, which is really exciting.
Right.
We're starting to get back to pre-pandemic levels, which is really where we want to be. And about a quarter of that is one property that has applied for some state assistance with the VHAP process. So that will come down pretty quickly as well. So pretty excited about that. But the primary reason I wanted to engage with you guys is I had reached out to a few lawyers about tax sales, just to kind of see how other lawyers are doing it versus our current lawyer. I pulled back our tax sale because our current lawyer hasn't been as reactive as I'd like them to be. What I would request of the board is I have a legal agreement from, let me get the name of the company here, Stitzel, Page and Fletcher out of Burlington. And one of the benefits of using this organization is historically tax sales, the taxpayer would be responsible for a flat 15% of the delinquent taxes as a fee to the lawyer. The lawyers group here actually does not do a flat fee. They will charge an hourly rate up to 15%. So it benefits the taxpayer who may be delinquent, that, you know, we're not charging them a flat fee on a, you know, $20,000 delinquent tax bill when it really only costs a couple $100 in actual fees, a couple hours of a paralegal's time. So that's kind of the reason I wanted to go with another lawyers group, is just because it would benefit those that are probably in a bad spot in our town anyway. You know, and having to go through a tax sale to come up with even more money it's equitably, it seems a little better to not charge them a flat 15%, but that's just my thought process. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that.
So just to get it straight in my notes, the new attorney they pay up to 15% to the new attorneys
Yeah,
versus
so-
our current attorney is 15% flat. Okay.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. And most of the work would be done by a paralegal. They charge an hourly rate of $90 an hour up to that 15%. And obviously they'll come down to Tunbridge. They'll do all their research. That paralegal's time will get split up based on which properties they were researching from there. And the agreement's pretty straightforward. They really just want the select board to sign off on it. It is not a binding agreement. We can.
Progress.
Hello. There we go. We can exit from the agreement at any time, or they can. It's just basically saying that we will pay them because they would like to make sure that they get paid in some manner. So if a property doesn't sell at tax sale, we will have to be pony up the amount that is due, which typically comes out of my budget anyway. So
So do you need a motion from one of us?
a motion from you guys, but I don't know if you guys want to review it, and then if you needed some time in executive session, that's fine too. And I can send it over. I probably should have sent it over when I did my request to you, but I apologize.
John, do you have anything
Joe.
to add?
Does this law firm do other town, rural towns similar to Tunbridge with tax sales?
Recently did Bethel's for us, for them. And that's kind of how I noticed it was in the paper. I was like, oh, who's this law firm? And I gave them a call, and it's sounds like more like the VLC team wants tax sales to go, and their interpretation of the law is that it's not a flat 15%, that it is intended to be up to 15%. So it's really a refreshing thing to see. So
Yeah. Can you, Joe, just explain how, if something goes to a tax sale, how it works? Because I've heard, that the owner has a year to get it back, and I've heard 3 to 5 years. So I just have some confusion on the whole issue.
yeah, definitely. So basically, in terms of a tax sale, I don't legally have to wait any amount of time. I can basically take the list from Becky and hand it to a lawyer and say, go collect all this. and they will, and I don't have to do anything, but obviously that's not a benefit to the taxpayer. They will go through a process which includes contacting them and any of their lien holders or interested parties that are on their deed. After, I think it's 60 days or 30 or 60 days after they do not receive a response, then we will move forward with demand letters, which will be 30, 60, 90 days. Then a tax sale can happen after 90 days. What'll happen at that point in time is, say, John, you bought a tax sale property, you bought my property at tax sale for $5,500 in delinquent taxes, plus the fees and interest and penalties and everything, say it's $7,000. I, as a taxpayer, will have 1 year to redeem that property. So you will get 12% interest per annum or 1% per month of interest for however long you hold that note. So you don't technically own the property, you have a note, and it's a guarantee that after 1 year, if I do not pony up the money, the 7,000 plus the $70 a month or whatever it is, that you will get the property, and as a delinquent tax collector, I will write a deed to you that extinguishes all outstanding liens from the property. And that's the only way to extinguish deeds. So typically a mortgage holder will redeem a property before the end. They may not redeem it before the tax sale, but they'll redeem it before the end of the 1 year grace period just to keep their interest in the property. So it's not 3 to 5, but it can take 3 to 5 years total, depending on how long we wait to send their property to tax sale. And right as the pandemic had started, I had implemented a policy that if you did not come up with a payment agreement by January 31st, that we would start the tax sale process on any property that did not come up with a payment agreement to pay their delinquent taxes by the next year. So that wouldn't happen for us. It'd be about 2 years from delinquent tax to property being in someone else's hands.
Joe, what would trigger, you moving forward with that? Is it that sort of the property owner's willingness to work something out with you as opposed to saying, go to hell and,
Yeah, or ignoring the debt,
Right.
And it's one thing, it's like, call me, even if the payment arrangement is, hey, I'm gonna pay $20 a month or $50 a month until my taxes come back, at least there's a good faith payment. And I like to have a documented process of, I, Joseph Paquin, agree to pay $50 a month, and then upon receipt of my tax refund, I intend to pay the delinquent taxes on my property on or about whatever the date may be that I intend to get that money back. Yeah, it's basically just either paid in full or some sort of a payment arrangement, and the payment arrangement has to pay the property taxes off for that year prior to the next year's taxes coming due. Otherwise, it wouldn't be an equitable agreement for the town, because now everybody else in the town is out. Obviously, there is some exceptions to that rule. There's a couple parcels in town that the property taxes are only a couple $100 and they go delinquent. And unfortunately, it's not worthwhile to sell that property at tax sale unless it hits $1,000. So I could take them to small claims court, but there's no repercussions. I mean, they can demand the money, but that doesn't mean they're going to pay it. So on those properties, it's really, the town has to wait until that, one of them, we have to wait till a 5-year mark because the taxes due are so little, and it's unfortunate.
And does it get more complicated if there's a resident in place? Because then you run into residency type, like essentially.
Yeah. So for the town, there's no complications. Once I write my deed to whoever the new owner is after that year of redemption, then they would need to file in Orange County Court an eviction of anybody who may reside on the residence. So they would be responsible for any eviction of a tenant, and they would be bound by that law. So they've just gained ownership of it, but they have a tenant if they didn't vacate.
Oh, neat. Oh, I get it. Thank you. And what's that, like, how many tax sales have we done in the last like 2-3 years?
Because of the pandemic, we did one after I started, and then we got delayed, and then the pandemic came, and then we were like, no, we're just gonna hold off. It's too much. Probably more so than the state probably would have recommended, but you know, everybody was going through a hard time, and it's kind of hard to take somebody's property away when every single person in town is suffering. So,
Yeah. And Joe, that 90, what was it, 92,000, something like that?
it is. Sorry, I got it right here. We have 94,000 total delinquent taxes.
So what percent of the total, town taxes due? It must be small. It must be like 1-2% or something.
I'd have to go look at it. Typically, every year we get about 200,000, a little under. Some years it's 180,000 in delinquent taxes. So it just depends. And the highest amounts obviously are the last 3 years because of COVID. I did put a notice into my last statement for everybody in town, and I'm going to try and send something in the Tunbridge Quarterly that specifically says there is financial assistance available at the state level. Please contact this number, because theoretically we could get all of that $94,000 paid off if everybody just did their part and called. But I can't call for them, unfortunately. So
Yeah, but I would think five figures is actually pretty low. It's pretty good.
yeah, it's not too bad. And typically by January, we're down around the 95,000 or so. So we're a little delayed, but we carried 150 to 200,000 in delinquent taxes over the last 2 years consistently, just because of what it is. So
Yeah. Thank you.
no problem.
All right, I think you should contact that law firm and tell them to go.
All right, so I'll send over their legal agreement. I just need one of you guys to sign it. And then if you just want to forward it to me, I can get it to them, and we'll move forward. And I'll manage the relationship. So there's nothing you guys have to manage unless we need to say, see you later, which they just need you guys to say that. So.
Yep. So Mariah will I'll be happy to sign it.
Okay,
Mariah, let me know.
sounds good.
Excellent.
All right. Thank you, Joe. It sounds like you've got things under control.
Starting to. It's been a long couple of years trying to balance being a delinquent tax collector and being human. So, so yeah, thank you very much.
Big question is, did you get maced this week?
I did not get maced this week. I have not been to a correctional facility this week, so we're good. Although that could change. I'm going to one on Thursday. So
Only Tuesday. Well, good luck.
thank you. All right, gentlemen and ladies, have a great day.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Joe.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, you have a draft of the.
I do,
passport
it's on
road.
your first page.
First page.
You have one, John?
He doesn't.
Oh.
I will email it to you, John.
Okay.
I already see a typo in it.
Is this the draft from the attorney group?
This is the one that Brenda had given us from a different town for the class four.
VLCT, wasn't it?
Yeah, here,
Oh, okay.
I have it right here. I can probably screen share it with you.
I think it's pretty good.
There. And I need to change this.
Yeah, got it.
And then I just added the legal trail improvements, so once we figure out what the heck we're doing with that, then
Right.
if somebody wanted to do an improvement on it, like
Mhm.
say the Trails Committee, or they would have to build this for them.
I think it's good.
And then speaking of that, Dean Goulet and Jacob, that is son.
Yep.
Will be here at the next meeting and I will send this to them if we approve it, and then have them fill this out prior to the next meeting.
And so well, just speaking of Dean Sauls had that little blurb that said he was gonna improve the first 1,200 feet of the
Yeah,
class 4 road. I mean, is Dean's intention, well, Dean's intention is not to do that before the next meeting. I hope.
no, because I emailed back his
But-
attorney and I said that we had done some improvement to it. We wanted Dean to go up and see if
Good,
that was, acceptable enough for him, and if he felt that they needed more improvement, that he had to come back and request
Mhm.
and tell us again what he needed to fix now versus what we've already done.
and just as long as we're on that subject, I called Cliff Pease and left a message for him to please move the camper in question. And I didn't talk to him, so I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if it's been moved or not. But Rodney said that Cliff was intending to move it, so I suspect, hopefully he has.
Mhm.
Mariah, one thing we might add to this is some sort of dates when the project, if it's approved, might be done, just so, it's not like, well, you told me 2 years ago I could do this kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay,
So we have John. Gets those things.
That's right.
include dates project will be started and estimated completion.
Perfect.
I could have done this, Gary.
You
Well,
could've.
I could have done this.
Yeah. Is that good? If it is, John, I'll
Yeah,
add it.
that's good.
The pretty girl on cheese.
I would love it if you said cheese, yeah. Thanks, Bill. Okay.
Did someone want to make a motion? We got the
I'll make a motion that we accept the
adopt.
adopt
There, John?
miscellaneous improvements application. For improvement.
Second that.
All right, it's been moved and accepted, or seconded to adopt this.
I think John wanted to say something. John,
John Echeverria, do you want to say something?
I just had a quick question, if I might.
Fire away.
It's a little confusing. It refers to class 4 roads and then it later refers to legal trails. But
Yeah.
I take it this permit system is intended to cover class 4 roads and legal trails, right?
Yes,
And of course, the issue of legal trails is now under dispute, right?
yes.
So I guess my question is, what, if anything, are you going to do with this as it applies to legal trails while the lawsuit is pending?
Sit on
yeah,
Thank you very much.
it. You're welcome. All right, motion's been made and seconded to adopt this
Application form.
application for improvement for class 4 roads and legal trails. All in favor, say aye.
All right,
Aye. Opposed? Nobody opposed?
The other thing, Mariah, looking at it, does it mention it's abutting landowners?
it doesn't.
So, right, like in the Goulet's case, could they ask to improve, say, the section of road that goes through the pieces? I mean, they could ask for it. We don't have to grant it, but I'm just wondering how that works.
I guess, I don't know, I didn't think about that, but I guess in that case, you could just say to him, you know, prior to approval, he has to get written permission from the Pisas or something.
Right. Or
Well,
from
either
us.
that, I mean, I guess anybody could request to improve any piece of class 4 road, whether you own any land or own it or not.
Right, and we just have to approve it or not approve it.
So I don't know how, I don't think it's that important that we get specific about whether you're a landowner or not.
Okay,
And plus
right,
we have to.
we
approve
might
it.
weight it more, right, like if there was a tree across the crossroad and you wanted to cut it up to get to a hay field, right, or something, you know, if you were a budding landowner, we might say, go for it, but right, but anybody could come to us, I guess, and say, I'd like to take that tree out of the way.
Right,
It's up to us whether we approve it.
yeah,
Okay, that works.
all right. Lost my place now.
Well, it's raining in East Tunbridge.
Really?
It is.
You rain hog. It showered a tenth of an inch. This afternoon.
Yeah, it
We get it
rained
pretty
and then
good.
it stopped like 2.5 minutes after it started.
Yeah.
We got a pretty good shower down my shop.
Yeah.
It must have rained for 15 minutes, 20 minutes,
Well, it rained longer than that at the farm, it just was.
and actually had puddles.
Yeah. All right, John, I think you're up next with fuel assistance committee discussion.
Okay, well, I reread Nancy Chapman's email, and it seems like the church, if they have profits, they want to donate some of that money to the fuel assistance fund. But they were wondering if it's an active fund at all, because they, I guess it's been pretty dormant lately, and Ben Wolf was the chair of that committee. And they haven't heard from him, so I think it's a great idea. I think this winter with the inflation and fuel,
Oh, yeah.
it would be great to have some money in there for some of the people around town who couldn't afford fuel, but I guess I could get in touch with Ben Wolf and see if he wants to get done, or, you know, if we could make that committee a bit more active, would be good.
Yeah,
What's the committee called? Is it a subcommittee of neighbors helping neighbors, or is it an official town committee?
I don't know the answer to that.
I don't either. Well, I'll call Ben, and find out.
Yep,
And then hopefully by winter, we might have a little bit in there and we could get the word out
yeah.
too, for donations.
Did they have any idea what money they might come up with, or just any money?
I don't know, yeah. And I don't know whatever happened with Paul Harwood's
I was just thinking,
firewood.
I don't know what happened. Maybe John has a brilliant.
I should call Paul and find out if, you know, people came and got it, or if I don't know if he ever even moved it down to the town garage area.
John, do you know anything about that?
I think it's all gone.
No.
I think he found people to give it to. He may have sold a cord, but it's all gone.
Yep,
Okay,
okay.
Alrighty.
Good
That
pyramid.
was sort of a de facto activity of that committee. At least it was fuel assistance in Tunbridge.
All right. Let's see. We've already slammed right through to other
Wow.
business. Oh, can you believe it?
I cannot believe it.
Did you guys see the email from Janet Sugg?
Yes.
About the lighting?
Well, no, it was about sound
Oh,
stuff, wasn't it? It wasn't about.
yes, it was about the sound stuff, but she has also not found another
Electrician.
electrician to
Right.
work on the lights.
Yeah.
So she's gonna try to get an estimate for that. And then she also wanted to know if we wanted to think about replacing the dehumidifier, because it's very loud.
It probably is like original equipment, isn't it?
Probably, yes.
Vintage.
Can somebody get us a price on a new one?
Sure.
Do you know if that's like what do you say? Is it portable or is it,
No, it's like an industrial, like
Yeah.
built-in one.
so it probably costs $1,000 or more?
I will, you know, who I'll get a hold of, Efficiency Vermont.
Hey.
They'll have a rebate for us. I'll be able to get.
So what what happened to Mr. Lurch? Did he,
No, I haven't
Was-
heard.
I thought he gave us estimates, but I thought he was potentially gonna do the work.
Right. Janet didn't say in her email what happened to Matt.
No, I thought it sounded like I missed some chapter here and he had, decided not to do it or moved away or something.
Yeah, I haven't seen him around, so maybe he moved away.
I guess we could ask Janet.
Yep. The sound deadening was what, $4,000?
Well, he said ballpark figure.
Yeah,
He didn't have an exact estimate.
I guess I
But-
know.
I think that's well worth the money.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just $4,000. That's a lot of money, but if it'll dampen the sound so you can actually hear something.
I
in
was gonna
there.
say, I can't hear a thing down there.
All I can hear is noise. Unless I'm there by myself. And I hear silence,
And you're eating cupcakes.
right?
Yeah.
Sound like a hog eating then.
Does it go
Oh.
both ways? So if Gary's eating a cupcake in the basement, then people upstairs will hear him?
Could hear it.
I bet it amplifies that through.
Okay.
So Janet's gonna come in next meeting.
I believe so. She has the estimate in time.
Yep.
I got an email back, which I forwarded to you from Paul Gillies.
Yep.
About opening for bikes.
Oh, yeah.
He said there was no reason you couldn't. Rita and Rodney are going to discuss where to put those tubes out for the.
Yep.
for McCullough's, but she'll do that this coming week.
Get out the what?
The speed
Speed
survey.
survey.
Okay, okay.
And then there are 4 different resumes in here for grant manager,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that.
like really good ones too.
It's not
Yeah.
Mary Ann's.
Yeah,
She's top notch.
yeah. Mary Ann.
Not that I'm leaning for her.
Polly D'Antonio and Taylor Wilson, and then the
Jeff
Masterson.
Masterson.
And when was our deadline on?
We didn't have a deadline,
Okay,
but I can email these 4 candidates and have them come in
yeah,
to interview. Do you want to do it next meeting, or do you want to set up a separate time to do
I
it?
hate interviewing. I don't want to do it.
Oh,
I'll let Mike and John do it.
Oh, you.
I hate interviewing people.
you can just
Why?
sit there and listen.
Okay, I'll sit there and listen.
We had the interview heard, didn't we?
Yeah.
Well, that was more casual.
Oh, I was that more casual.
Well,
It was over Zoom, so
do you?
put on a nice shirt.
Fool everybody. Do
You can
you,
get one on a t-shirt, so it looks
That's
like
a tie,
tuxedo.
yeah. Exactly.
um,
Yeah, when do you want it?
do you know if we have a lot going on next meeting?
I don't know yet, but it's 3 weeks away, so probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we ought to get going on this.
Yeah,
Well, do you want to set up a time in the interim? Let's see when we could do it.
How long do we interview? Like a half an hour? Is that what we give people? Or
more than enough,
Yeah,
think.
15 minutes.
20 minutes?
Yeah.
Let's go with 20.
Okay,
15-20 minutes.
so we can do it. We don't have any meeting until the 13th of September. So we have,
Ooh, that's Tunbridge Fair Week.
Yeah.
we have next week and the week after. So we're 2
I
full
start
weeks.
Masons next month, so I wouldn't want to do it Tuesday.
We could do it Tuesday, the 30th. That's next week.
No, no.
Okay.
No, you can't do it can't do it on the 30th. But we don't have to be on Tuesday.
No,
Right, it's true.
it doesn't have to be at 6 o'clock either.
Right, if we allow 20 minutes each, we could do it at 7 or 7:30 or something.
Yeah.
Especially if we could do it at 7:30. And maybe I could actually do my own chores and then speed down here.
Thursday the 1st.
I don't have a race, so. Is Thursday the 1st okay for you, John, if we wanted to do interviews?
I'm trying to think. I have a doctor's appointment and then I think, well, it's Emily's birthday, so that's probably not a good day.
Yeah,
Unless-
Oh, we could just
Unless
have
you
a cake.
for the job.
We could have a cake while we were interviewing,
That's true.
cupcakes.
We could do it anytime that first week, the 5th through the 9th.
Is the 5th on a Monday?
Monday's the 5th, 9th is a Friday.
That makes sense. Yeah, they've asked a stupid question.
That's okay.
They line right up.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And what, you and
So
Mason, Mike, on Mondays?
Tuesday.
No, Tuesday,
Oh, Tuesday.
so I couldn't do it.
Why not Monday, the 5th?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Or
do it
that-
Monday.
What-
Is that
what's in-
Labor Day?
Yeah,
That Labor Day?
Oh,
Oh, can't do it
how
then.
about Wednesday the 7th?
let's see if they can come on Wednesday the 7th,
That sounds good.
and if they can all make it, then we'll all make it.
Okay,
Yeah,
starting at 7:30, 20-minute intervals, speed interviewing.
Yep.
you got, did Jeff put any
I don't have any
contact?
contact, no, so if you could give me. his
I
contact.
will get that to you.
That's nothing, does that have to be warned or anything, or?
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
does?
if we're all
We're all
together.
gonna be here.
Okay, okay.
Well, the good thing about that is potentially we could have the person hired by that town meeting too,
Yes,
the September 21st.
of
Yeah,
course, yeah.
They'd hopefully be up and running with Sarah Raitt and Brenda and all the others.
Right. Oh, I think that'd be great. Oh, okay.
Are we advertising town nurse, Mariah?
I have not gotten back, and, oh, what's the word I'm looking for, job description yet.
Oh,
but
right.
I got that, I will do. I will have it done by the next meeting. Did we decide on an hourly rate for that?
It was gonna vary
Said
on there.
something between 30 and 50 was,
For the town nurse as well?
oh, no,
Yeah, that's
no,
what I
no,
thought.
no. We did,
Didn't Jody figure it for 30 or something
yeah, we did,
initially?
we did have a figure for that,
Okay,
but I can't remember where
Yeah.
it was.
It depended on how many hours too, I think.
yeah,
It came up at town meeting
yeah,
and I blurted out the wrong information.
okay.
But didn't you want, somebody at one point took the total and divided it by however many hours?
Right,
Yeah.
because I said we're gonna give them so much, it's gonna be 8 hours a week or something, but that wasn't. That wasn't what it was.
Yeah.
Because they were saying it was gonna be like $60 an hour. And that's not what we intended.
Usually what I get.
Yeah, I know, but not everybody do.
That's true. That's what I pay myself.
When you're
Right.
town,
Oh, I'm so glad you're angry.
Yeah. But then I have to add on all the fees and everything, and I get about $2. From all the things I break.
They take that out of your pay?
I do.
Oh my God.
well, since we have a dollar number budgeted, we could work backwards from that and then probably working up an arrangement.
Yeah.
You know, because it's already, not a 12-month job since we're past July
Yeah,
1st.
but we could break it down.
Mhm.
How many months we've lost,
Right.
or break it down to 12 months and then
Right.
you're only gonna work 6, so.
All right, so that's under control. Any other business?
Yeah, so I wanted to talk to you guys and just, again, I know we had mentioned it before, but keeping Bonnie on, I wanted to keep her in the office on Mondays and Wednesdays. And furthermore now, because, so Davis has been in speech therapy on and off because he's really delayed.
Mhm.
And they just said that he has this thing called childhood apraxia of speech. So it's a motor planning issue. So like he knows exactly what he wants to say, but he can't make his mouth say it. Which
You
is
can
like
also say it eventually.
sad. Well,
It
he will with a lot of therapy because it's like a brain
Really?
thing. Yeah, it's not just like a speech delay anymore. It's like a neurological thing. So he has to see a speech therapist 4 days a week. So I will still work Mondays and Wednesdays, but I won't be at my house from like 8 to 2, like I was prior.
Mhm.
So that's why I was thinking Bonnie would be great, because then at least the office is open and people can get in contact with her. I'll still be in Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I come in after hours. I'm here on a Sunday night. I'm here Tuesday with you guys. So
Mhm.
as long as that's okay, that's what I want to move forward doing with her.
So how many hours will it be for Bonnie
It'll be
additionally?
total, it'll be 12.
Yeah.
She'll do 2 6-hour days.
Mhm.
So whatever that is for. I don't know if it's in the budget, so I also
We
was
had-
going to
I was gonna say,
offer,
Did we have a budget for an assistant?
We
I
do.
thought so.
I don't remember how
so it's
much.
$180 a week.
Yeah.
But if you needed to,
Have
because
we got a budget in here?
I don't know,
No. Yes, yes.
Hey, he's on the ball.
No, that's not it.
Oh, no, that's not it.
No.
Not on the ball. But we did, I mean, I can't remember whether it was 3,000 or 5,000 or something. like
yeah,
that.
but and I don't know how much she's used, but I guess it's already a new fiscal year too.
Hasn't used that much yet
Yeah.
this year.
Right, okay,
It's 180, that's like $600 a month and whatever it is.
Yeah.
So at least, yeah. So at that rate, she'd be over if we had 5,000.
it's like 7,200. So if you need to take some out of your line because I'm working less during the.
Don't worry, we'll take.
I'm just
all we-
saying,
We'll take all we
obviously-
need out of you.
I obviously understand that Davis is throwing a wrench into my work hours,
Damn
so
kids.
if you need to
Um,
adjust it, I understand.
This is last year, because this is printed off in June. But the assistant town clerk wage was $3,000.
But let's remember, I also took a pay cut, so there's more money in the budget,
Mhm.
because I got a big pay cut for this year.
Oh, just because you didn't work,
Well,
that's not our problem.
not my fault that I had to push a whole.
I think you had something to do with it.
Well, Mariah, you were sort of figuring it was a wash, right? From whatever you didn't make the spring and summer, right? That essentially that about the same what Bonnie was getting, right?
I do think it's important though, even if it wasn't me that was the town clerk and there was somebody else that was in here all those days, I think it is important to have a budget for an assistant because
Yeah.
Bonnie has been like invaluable and super great. And it's really nice having somebody else that knows what they're doing. So if I'm in a pinch or something, you know, she can open the office and that type of thing.
Anybody ever said that about you?
No,
You're invaluable. I think so.
useless maybe. Other adjectives.
But
No, I think Bonnie, I mean, my opinion of her is that she, from the beginning till now, and I haven't talked to her for a couple of weeks, she's really got a lot more confidence and she knows where to go to get whatever.
Now, was she the woman that was at
Mhm.
Polk County?
Yep.
Okay, I didn't know who that was.
oh, sorry, I would have introduced you.
You should have introduced yourself, rushed your hand at her.
Yeah,
I was shoving cupcakes.
yeah.
I didn't have much
Candy
chance to
bacon
talk.
cupcake.
Yeah.
And what else was I gonna say about that? Bonnie. There was one other thing that I can't remember. It'll come back to me. Oh, I was going to stay out of the office until November, but I'm planning on coming back in October. So that's why I kind of wanted to make sure it was okay with you if I kept her on, so then I can set that schedule with her Monday and Wednesdays.
Mhm.
And I'll still be available. If you like, call me, I'm there. I just might be at a speech therapist's office.
Every
instead.
2 weeks, you check your voicemails on your
Oh
phone.
my God, I need to get a different answering machine. Gary calls me, I look at my phone every 3 weeks and it's like 8 new messages and 3 of them are him and I haven't listened to it for a month.
Maybe she just didn't like me.
She just thought you were not invaluable.
Yep.
Perfect.
Perfect.
I'm also the new librarian assistant.
Jesus, you're building
You
that
are?
resume, aren't you?
Yeah. Wednesday nights and Saturday mornings, Mariah
Yeah,
planted the seed and watered it and then finally I said, okay, I'll apply. So
They're just gonna take Davis with you to the, I
Yeah.
mean, both kids to the
Yeah,
library.
yeah, and
That'll
Devin will
work.
be home Saturday mornings and Wednesdays, the after-school program, so Davis can play with the kids and
Yeah.
Saturdays, story hour.
Mhm.
So come check a book out. See your local
Yeah,
town clerk, AA and assistant librarian.
and what else do you do?
I'm
25
no
of them?
longer the assistant treasurer. 'cause
Assistant
Bill left
road
that.
foreman.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, I'm disappointed that Fred Pond isn't here, because I can't call on him. I don't know what he's doing tonight. I hope it's important. You can put that in the minutes if you want.
Okay,
Fred did not appear.
Brad Pond was not at the meeting. Gary was disappointed. Chair Mullen was, I have to find a good adjective.
Distraught.
Throwing an adjective. How's the mowing, town mowing going?
Around the buildings?
Yeah.
It looks real good. And then,
Oh, should
Shattered.
we, well, it didn't do any good, but should we try to get the front of this building pressure washed again?
we should. Is Mr. I can't think of his name now. Has he washed the windows or is he, I haven't noticed anything. Paying any bill about that. Usually he does. They're dirty.
Yeah. And just a little dingy looking there, so I didn't know. We oughta,
John, do you remember? I mean, I don't remember, because Jackie wanted us to pressure wash the building at one time, and we gave her a lot of crap because we thought we shouldn't pressure wash an old building. Do you remember if we,
but didn't we end up doing it?
I don't remember.
I pressure washed my house.
Yeah,
I started a fire in my outlet. Remember? Did we talk about?
I pressure washed that backside our
We
house.
aren't hiring her.
Fire hazard.
Yeah. That's silence. but-
I,
Do you remember,
I think-
John?
I remember the discussion. I can't remember if it ever happened or not, but I remember, I've heard that certain buildings, right, if it forces water like up, under the clapboards, that's a bad thing.
Right.
So
Maybe we just have to wait and paint it again.
You know, it is pretty gross out front. It's amazing. I don't know where the dust comes from, but,
Friggin' highway.
right. From Paul Lambert.
Paul Lambert keeps driving back and forth.
All cracker.
What, no cheese?
you have to wash your house once a year, Mariah?
I do, it's filthy. It gets so dirty.
Shut your electricity off first.
I will next time. I need to just get like a outdoor GFI outlet, maybe. Not
She
one
leaves
from
the front door open too, so I bet the inside's just about as bad.
Yeah, my door is not well sealed, so like I have to put a towel underneath when I spray the front of it, because the water tries to go under the door.
Oh, God.
If I think of it, I could call George White, for instance, and see what he would do
Oh, yeah.
on
Yeah.
a dirty building.
That's good thing, huh?
I should also reach out to him and see when he's
Yes,
gonna come down here.
we need to get that done sooner than later.
Oh. You want me to try to get an automaker or somebody to come over and clean the furnaces, because apparently after that
Mhm.
audit thing, they said the furnaces were all right.
Yeah. Yeah,
'Cause
it
I
was,
was under the impression we're gonna have to do something about the one in the town hall, but
right,
they claimed that they were all right, so. So all we need is just get them cleaned, right?
yeah, or service or whatever you call
Yeah,
it, change
right.
filters and stuff like
Right,
that.
right,
I used to have his number, but I lost it, so if you have his.
yeah, I
number-
got it somewhere.
Do we do the town garage too?
Probably should,
Yeah, probably should, never thought
I
of that.
probably ought to do this building too,
Yes,
yeah.
I was thinking of this in the town hall,
All
but
three of them. So Mike's gonna get hold of Steve Nonamaker to see about servicing the 3 boilers or whatever you call them, heating elements or whatever for the buildings.
Are we doing any paving between now and frost?
Don't
No.
think so.
Nothing planned.
Okay. Or crack ceiling?
No, Rodney haven't said a thing about that this year.
Yeah,
No,
Hadn't thought about
'cause
that.
we usually do it about this time of year.
Yeah,
Huh. Guess I'll try to remember to ask him about that.
maybe we don't need it. Anything else?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Gary, do you
Anything
know
else?
what the schedule is for the pavilion? Is that gonna happen this year, or is it gonna be pushed to next
Yes.
year?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly, but I think by easily the end of October, it should be up and ready to take people in. Because Shane's gonna start anytime, he's actually, the pile of logs is down near the gravel pit by the sand pile. And he wants to take the logs up the hill to where he's actually gonna saw, and then he can just take the boards off the mill. And then somebody, me, Brenda, somebody's gonna go up and stick them up and get them drying. And then after he gets everything sawed, in the meantime, Matt's gonna come along and improve the roadway in there and do the site work and plant the piers to set the building on. And then Shane will build it this fall.
Okay,
So that's the plan.
that sounds good.
Yep. And we actually, just speaking about that, we went up a week ago last Saturday. There was like 8 people, maybe, or 9 or 10 people, Forest Committee and others. And we walked around the trail up there, the proposed trail. Jonathan Bicknell was there as a representative of the Trails Committee. And the Forest Committee accepted Jonathan's proposal for a trail there. So Jonathan and the Trails Committee is gonna do up some signage and stuff so people can go up there and walk around and not get lost. And then once the pavilion is up, they can hike up to the pavilion if they want and hike even further up through the woods. So it's a nice trail.
That sounds great.
Yep.
There are also trail proposals for the Drew lot.
No real trails yet, because Jimmy Welch is gonna do the last of the logging this coming winter, we hope.
Okay.
And then once that's done, then there could be trails, but that's a lot steeper lot. It's just, it won't be quite as much fun to walk. We had a great mix of people, nobody really young, but older people and people that were less fit on our little walk 2 weeks ago. And it was a little bit of a challenge for a couple of them, because the grade is a little bit steeper. And on the Drew lot, it's way steeper. So I think anybody that want to go up is welcome to go up. But it wouldn't be something we would advertise at least straight away.
That's for our triathletes.
Right.
Did you guys hear that Heidel's Valley died?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is she the one, she's the house that's right at the end of Monarch and
Straight up, yeah,
Spring Road?
Yeah.
She was cool lady.
she was. The funeral
What
maybe.
happened?
Heidi Alls or Heidi Duffy died last Thursday.
Oh,
Frank Duffy's wife.
oh, I didn't know that.
And Dennis and Devin were supposed to meet with him today. I don't know.
Yeah.
They did or not.
They did.
See, Dennis was walking a lot in the cemetery when I come by.
Yeah.
on Spring Road.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be, Friday,
Right. All right. It's a nice schedule there.
2 p.m.
Nice,
at the Tunbridge Church.
nice. Now I know.
There you go, now you know.
All right, any other business, gentlemen?
I don't think so.
So anyway, Mike and I will sign the orders after we go off the air.
I
guess.
have minutes, but I will just email them to you. Actually, they're on the select board webpage.
Yeah, I started to go through them, Mariah. The last 2 that you've done. How far back do I have to go to?
If you look on the if you look on your webpage on the select board, if you go
Yep.
back into the minutes, it'll tell you, like, there'll be 4 that you did that don't have.
Right.
Minutes
But
attached.
before that, right, I think, around. Even when.
I'll look and see, yeah. I don't
Okay, yeah,
know off
just
the
send
top
me
of
a
my
note.
head. I
It's-
have
it's-
them in the vault.
It's like maybe from April or something. I'm way behind. I gotta go
Okay.
through just to
Sure.
double check.
Yep.
All right, unless we've got something else, we can sign off so John can do the chores or whatever.
Doo-doo.
Yeah, make a
Unless you
delicious
wanna-
meal. Make a delicious meal. What are you eating, Gary?
Cheese and crackers,
That's your supper.
yeah. No, I don't know. We had, well, probably leftovers. We had turkey last night and potato salad. I don't know what we had for veggie.
That sounds good.
Potato salad is a veggie.
Sort of. What did we have? I can't remember now.
Or forgotten
I have
carrot.
leftovers from that.
You have to drive by the Sillies and you smell gourmet meals coming out of that open door.
Like pizza or
wish.
something?
I do like a good pizza.
Yeah. What's going on in the O'Brien house tonight?
I don't know what we'll have.
5-star
Something.
meal.
5-star. I doubt it.
Have you guys ever eaten at the taco place? It was that taco truck down in South Royalton.
Oh,
Burn.
it's open
It
now?
burned. But it's not open yet, but
I
I'm,
assume.
yeah, it's so
It
good.
is good.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's,
It only burned down once, but
It's a hot place to eat.
it is, yeah. Really.
When's it opening?
I don't know, hopefully soon, because need a taco fix.
I think in September, somebody said.
Is it?
I don't know who it was said that.
Well, one of Emily's favorite was that Mexican restaurant in Randolph, and that burned down.
Yeah.
hate that. We had to make a trip over to East Randolph store a couple of Fridays ago, and get hot sausages, get ready for the
Brian,
fair.
yeah, I'm waiting. Well, Lori and I are gonna be married 25 years tomorrow.
Wow,
And so-
congratulations.
Thank you. So we're going to go up to Burlington Saturday night, and there's a dinner train that takes,
A train,
to go,
cool.
go from Burlington to Middlebury and
Nice.
back.
Oh, really?
That would be
Yep.
awesome.
So we're gonna do that.
Well, the new route.
I don't know what we're gonna eat, but it better be good.
Yeah.
Is it an old railroad car?
I don't know that.
Something nice, probably.
I saw the ad on TV, so I don't know.
I know.
It's like BT rail or something.
We see about the bear attack.
Oh, yeah, who do we use for IT stuff? My wife wants, to know. I can't.
RB technology.
RB,
RB.
RB
Okay.
Technology.
Okay, I couldn't remember the name tonight.
Champlain Valley Dinner Train,
Yeah.
Green Mountain Railroad.
It's probably it.
Looks nice. Shared table for 2, 1 aisle and 1 window.
Actually, Mick McGuire and his new bride Kathleen are coming with us.
Oh, so you did a private table for 4.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
They just got married a month ago.
Yeah,
they're behind you.
there. That's a 3-hour duration. You can have a lakeside salad, tender baby greens with crisp iceberg and romaine with a champagne Dijon vinaigrette with an array of garden vegetables. Your
How's that?
second course, you have a choice between chicken cordon bleu, peppered roast sirloin, grilled tenderloin of pork, seared ahi tuna, or vegan eggplant roulade.
I'll take a little bit of
That's what
everything.
Gary's gonna,
And then chef's choice of dessert. And you have choice between cocktails, beer, and soft drinks. and
Ooh.
wine.
Take a good beer.
Probably they have. Excellent. I gotta do this. Maybe I'll tell them we should go.
make it a table for 6.
Yeah.
When you've been married 25 years.
Yeah,
Yeah, not quite. 20 to go.
yeah, it should be a good time.
Good. All right. I'll go feed the chickens.
All right, make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I second it.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
All right, so next meeting will be September 7th. Mariah, will that be warned as, I mean, it's not a regular select board meeting, but if there were, motions we had to make just to move things along besides grants managing stuff, did that happen there?
I don't think so because it won't be on the agenda.
Right.
Okay,
Unless somehow it got on the agenda, but otherwise it's not on the agenda, we can't.
Right. I think it'll
Okay.
just be, select board is meeting at this date and time to interview candidates for
Yep.
grant manager.
okay. So unless there's some really pressing thing, and then you can put it on the agenda,
Yeah.
3 days in advance, and we could deal with it. But hopefully there's nothing like that. Sounds good. All right.
All right, thank you, John.
Yeah, have a good night.
You too.
Take care.
Hopefully it keeps raining.
Yeah.